My name is Beatriz Merino, and I'm project manager at Universidad Politécnica of Madrid. And today, together with Christos Kontogeorgis from Democritus University of Thrace, we are going to explain our use case, personalized medicine. So, first of all, I would like to start by giving you a little bit of background on where we are, which is the problem, and why we are envisioning this particular use case. So the main problem that we are facing says that patients have no control or knowledge over the data and the records that are taken on them. So in order to manipulate our data from any database, I mean our data because I am envisioning that somehow I can be also a patient, we need to go through time and resource consuming bureaucracy with no guarantee of result. So with these problems or barriers in mind, here we would like to establish a real world data space that combined with health data from other patients and based on prediction models using these in a retrospective manner can determine the risk of an individual patient as well as the best treatment for him or her. This, for sure, will enable patient control over data and create a trusted environment to share data for research purposes. So, with this problem in mind, this use case aims to provide trust environment that support patient-centric solutions for value-based health delivery in clinical practice and generation of real-world evidence for research purposes in order to apply it to improve diagnosis, prevention, and personalized treatment. So basically, its goals are mainly four. We can define this in 4 blocks. To use integrated health data compliant with data privacy regulations for sure, for research purposes to generate real-world evidence. To leverage blockchain in combination with machine learning and artificial intelligence to improve healthcare provision, which is also an added value of this PharmaLedger project. To implement a dynamic permission for using platform. To introduce or even develop new policies that can protect patient rights by ensuring patient ownership and right of portability. So in one sentence or 2 sentences, the main focus of personalized medicine use case is to validate the use of blockchain technology in combination with machine learning and artificial intelligence techniques for the application of algorithms and models that improve the healthcare provision as a whole. Besides that, these models and algorithms will use integrated health data compliant with data privacy regulations and mentions for research purposes to generate real-world evidence. So I would like to ask to the audience to turn to Slido and answer this question. So now I will leave the floor to Christos to follow the presentations with the future state.
Thank you very much. This is Christos Kontogeorgis. I'm the head of the research group from Democritus University of Thrace, and now we'll see what are the future states of what are we going to do with this blockchain. And so this is the case, let's say, that will give us the access with blockchain to give to the real world data all the needed information and to start working on this main pattern, which means that we have the chance to gather data from hospitals, from pharmacies, from devices or even optometrists. And the main things that we have to keep in mind is that we still give to the patients their freedom to save their data, to share their data when they like to, and to know, to have access to their data and to know how they will use their data. The second point is about the healthcare professionals, where we have the ability to provide them with data, helping them for accurate diagnosis, to help them prevent any risk factors from the treatment that they will follow for their patients, and finally to personalize this treatment. And the third, last but not least point is about researchers. Researchers will going to use this data and to use patients' health data using either artificial intelligence or multivariate regression to provide a prediction model for treatments and for information that will be very useful for healthcare professionals. Which means that the blockchain will have 4 reasons to help us to go further. These are transparency, security, trust, and interoperability. Which means that firstly, the grants will keep overview of all their data, which is the most important thing to help them feel comfortable with sharing their data. The second thing is that we save data, we give privacy and security about this data, and finally, with healthcare provision to improve better clinical decisions. And we have also to add to the previous things that this blockchain will improve the ability to connect data and to reduce the delay time, which is very important for especially some severe cases, to save time, to make things start faster and go faster for patients' treatment. So, if we would like to come to a conclusion of the whole this presentation, we have to keep in mind that from this blockchain we'll have all the stakeholders feel much more comfortable, and we will add special value to their needs, which means about the patients that they will have their own data and will give them permission to share data, and they have also the ability to receive feedback about their personalized treatment. The data providers to be much more safe with their data and make data available for further exploitation. About physicians and researchers, I will give them access and read rights on the data sets shared by the data provider, and also make analysis, execute models, and generate evidence on personalized feedback. And finally, we'll give the chance to model providers or even to insurance companies to make, let's say, their access to data and their clinical decision, or even the data that they come from the clinical decision, to have this insurance that these data are real, and they can use them for further policy about their, either when it's coming for government or for insurance companies. So with this slide, we're coming to the end of the presentation of clinical trial and health data use cases webinar, and we move forward for questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Christos. Thank you to all of our presenters there. So we've come to the end of the 4 presentations, and before we jump into the live Q&A with the speakers, we're going to take a quick look at the results of the poll questions that were being posted during the presentations there. And finally, during the personalized medicine presentation by Christos and Beatrice, where they discussed trusted environment for patient-centric decentralized applications and the use of blockchain to leverage RWE for research, machine learning, and AI and value-based health delivery. They asked about what word or phrase best represented what you believe to be the biggest challenge in delivering personalized medicine. And overwhelmingly, that word is trust. empowerment, GDPR, data sharing. So I think they're probably the fine elements of what people are concerned about in terms of trust, showing there as the most critical challenge for personalized medicine. Okay, so that takes us through the results of the poll. We're now going to open the live Q&A session with today's speakers. Our next question relates to personalized medicine, so Christos or Beatrice could answer this one. How are you addressing a secure data ecosystem? Specific technologies for the different types of data providers, for example, labs and pharmacies.
Hello, good morning, everyone. So for the first question, how we are addressing a secure data ecosystem? So the answer is that we are using specifically blockchain, and in the case of PharmaLedger project, an innovation that we are using data shared units as a way to secure data in this case. So for the second question is the PharmaLedger platform allows to have different applications on the top. So it could be in one side end-to-end one, or specialized by user, as mentioned in the question, like of labs or pharma. And the platform is technology agnostic also. So it also will allow to have any type of blockchain technology in any of these apps or solutions.
Our next question, I think, is back for Disa and Francesca. I don't understand how blockchain is used in the Internet of Things and personalized medicine use cases. How are you using blockchain? So maybe if Disa or maybe Christos from personalized medicine or Beatrice can jump in here.
Yes, I'll start, and of course, anyone in the team can jump in. So the idea behind this is that we started to look at how we can use blockchain to provide that trust and security in the conduct of clinical trials. So this is just as one of the use cases out of many use cases that we selected. So we start to, the IoT device, of course, it provides I would say a portion of the data that we collect in the clinical trial. But the idea behind it is that we're using blockchain because it provides that transparency and the security and the trust of how the information is being collected. As mentioned, what we're trying to do is that we're selecting some of these devices that we can harmonize, how we can do the data standards and analytics, also basically reducing and simplifying the validation that we go through as a sponsors or even device companies in having doing the vendor qualification process, for example, the due diligence. So the idea is that, by having a system or platform like this, that we can share some of this information, and of course the device certification that are provided by the different regulatory authorities in the different countries. And it's just to giving that validity of, how the data, the collection of that data and how that data is basically interpreted at the end. So what we're starting to do here is just to focus on some of the use cases. Of course, the IoT being one of the use cases, and personalized medicine is, just collecting that data, how we can use that for our benefits, and how this could potentially, again, accelerate the drug development process. But again, this is just a use case or two of the use cases that when we were looking at potentially how we can use blockchain as a technology in conducting the clinical trial.
Christos or Beatrice, anything to add?
Yeah, thank you, Disa, for this answer. I totally agree with that. Just to make the point on personalized medicine use case, as we explained, is the focus of this use case is to validate the use of blockchain technology in combination with advanced techniques like machine learning and artificial intelligence that at the end could improve the healthcare provision. So the focus of the blockchain is to provide a solution that guarantees data security for sure, and privacy, as well as visibility of what is done with the data in the case of personalized medicine.
Super, thank you very much. Our next question is sort of a wider question. So maybe Xenia, or one of the project coordinators for PharmaLedger, can answer this. Blockchain has been used without specificity. Which blockchain platform? And how do you intend to scale the voluminous data processing and use?
Yes, hello.
Hi, Xenia, go ahead.
When we talk about the PharmaLedger platform, okay, I mean, when we talk about the platform, we talk about the PharmaLedger platform. So all the use cases are built as applications on the top of the platform that we have designed and that we are deploying. So actually, in our platform, we are based in a new concept, which is called OpenDSU. And this concept is key in the platform and stands for Open Data Sharing Units. And it's a technology that works as a container for data and the code being built in the blockchain. It's a container that is cryptographically secure and anchored in the blockchain and in the control of the user. So what is behind of this platform and this architecture that is being deployed and designed and built in PharmaLedger is that from what we start in this project right from the beginning, our goal has been to be agnostic to the blockchain technology and remain as neutral as possible to the blockchain technology that is selected by each of the use case solutions. So for this purpose, for example, the OpenDSUs are also blockchain technology agnostic. They support any kind of programmable blockchain technology. So this is what we are building at the level of PharmaLedger. We're building not only the capabilities, but also the infrastructure to support this. The platform is foreseen to be scalable. And actually, right now, the applications that are in the top are the ones that are representing all the 8 use cases, okay, that PharmaLedger is developing, okay, the ones that are in the supply chain and the ones that are in health data and clinical trials that have been presented today. But the idea is that it will host new use cases and scale for this data and support the applications on the top of this architecture that is and platform that is being built.
Actually, Xenia, there is a follow-up question which has come up, which is who and which suppliers would make these blockchains a reality? This is costly work and there are no off-the-shelf solutions. So can you talk about the supplier issue there?
Well, this is something that is being discussed from the beginning of the project, okay, together with the design of this platform and the PharmaLedger infrastructure. We are putting together a whole work package and task, okay, to define how it's going to be the governance of the platform. And in this case, everything is being defined in this work package. And still there is, I mean, as commented before, we're in design phase. This is not a decision taken, but we are designing all this, let's say, approach that will go together with the governance of the platform and the blockchain produced in PharmaLedger.
Actually, there's many questions coming in for you, Xenia. There's another one here. If you could describe the process for achieving agreement on the data governance by all the consortium for all or any of the studies that are going on.
Okay, so as commented from the beginning of the project, we have focused on the governance of the blockchain. But through all the developments, okay, and right now, for example, we have approached areas such as data interoperability through the DSUs, okay, adoption of standards, integration of standards as such as part of the data management. And now we just have been here for a year. And we are in our second year. And in this second year, we're starting what is called the sustainability approach of PharmaLedger. And in this sustainability approach, okay, is integrated what it's going to be or what it needs to be done and designed as part of the data governance. So preliminarily, what we have in our work to do, it's set out as a framework that to define the clear roles and responsibilities and interdependencies of those roles, okay? So this include to introduce data policies, principles, data policies as common principles, let's say, for the governance body that is taking on the blockchain, guidance and working practices in the area of data management to support what is the data governance. So this is something that we are starting now as part of the sustainability plan.
Super. Thank you, Xenia. Our next question, I think this is a sort of a high-level question, so maybe Xenia could pick this up. How to join PharmaLedger? It's asked by someone who says they have developed a scalable use case that fits 100%. Xenia.
Yes. Okay, right now we're in the phase of developing the architecture and the platform. So we interact with other use cases, also the projects and initiatives, but we will open for all these use cases and scalable use cases, okay, when we finish part of the deployment and finish the project phase. But for sure, okay, you can contact us at contact@pharmaledger.eu. We receive a lot of the interactions through there, and also we will be also very interested in see the trials that are going and that might be fitting, okay, for PharmaLedger as such, for sure. So either through the website or through our email, for sure.
Yeah, sure. Very good. Our next question, I think, is for Xenia to answer. Who will manage these blockchain platforms? Xenia.
Well, it's actually defined how it's going to be managed. Since day one that I started this project, we have in parallel a task and an area that is defining the governance of the project as such. So we've been evaluating different models. We have some recommendations internally, okay, to how to approach this. And this is going to be defined and really shaped for the end of the project to see how the governance and the management of the platform is going to be provided. So it's in process right now.
Super. Thank you, Xenia. The next question is, when could patients expect solutions to be available? So Xenia, if you could pick this one up.
Yes, actually these solutions, okay, will be taken to pre-operative environment at the end of the project. That's 2022. So following that will be, and the idea is that they will be productized, okay, to be allowed for patients and other users to be used as such. However, from now through the patients organization, just to say that if patients want to see and want to collaborate in the development, part of what our idea and part of what our practice is that we're doing co-development. So actually through patients organization, you can come and participate and provide your insights. So how would you like to see these applications in the future? So it's a great insight for PharmaLedger to have the insights from the patients as well as from health providers. We have some already in the partnership, as commented, as well as the patients organizations that are in the project. So please, it will be great if you want to participate and provide insights. So contact the patients organization to also support your view in PharmaLedger.
Super. Okay, Xenia, I think this next question you might also be able to help us with. Given that there are other similar solutions in development, how will you build the critical mass to ensure PharmaLedger is successful?
Well, that's right. Okay, but we are doing so also from the beginning. I mean, together with governance, we are also having some other task that is building this critical mass. Okay, it goes to patient through patients organization. We are building also a relationship with other projects, with other initiatives, not only in blockchain, but also a regulatory, let's say, level. Okay, so we are networking and actually building this critical mass to really disseminate when ready all the platform and have already a community that goes technically and as users, okay, around PharmaLedger when it's ready.
Thank you. And I think you might be able to help us with this next question as well. Will Big Pharma own these solutions?
Well, these solutions, the ones that are built now, okay, are part of the consortium. So the consortium is rules and have, okay, several documents that are called agreements, and behind these agreements there are IPRs. But I mean, they are collaborative. I mean, this is a PPP, and all developments right now are done under collaborative approach. So it's part of the PharmaLedger and part PharmaLedger consortium, and however, this will be transferred to the next generation of PharmaLedger, let's call it like this, okay, which will have its own governance.
Thank you. I think just given the time, we're just going to take one more question. The next question is probably maybe to Xenia or one of the team in terms of the technology. How many ledgers and nodes do you have on a possible chain code?
Okay, I'll try to answer the question. Just to comment that maybe when we say this, we're missing some concepts or bringing some concepts from the Hyperledger. So the first thing to comment in this area is that we are blockchain agnostic. Okay, so we can use Hyperledger, Ethereum, Enterprise, or any other. Also, as commented, our platform is based on the DSU. So the DSU could be a microledger, and we reduce the need of chain code or smart contracts, okay? We put the logic, okay, inside of the DSU as such to support this approach. So this is, I mean, this concept, I guess, comes a little bit as commented for the Hyperledger. So actually, we have a little bit an additional direction that is based on DSU as a microledger as such. I'm not sure if also someone else want to comment here.
Okay, so I think that covers all of the questions that have been submitted. So thank you to everyone who's asked a question today. But with that, we've come to the end of the second Public PharmaLedger webinar. Thank you to all the speakers who've presented today, and to the production team who've made the event happen. And thank you to the audience for attending and for your questions and taking part in the polls during the event. We hope you found it interesting. As I said earlier, a recording of these webinars is available via the PharmaLedger website and the PharmaLedger YouTube channel. And on the website, you can subscribe to the PharmaLedger newsletter, where you'll receive updates on the progress of the project. And you can also, on the website and through the newsletter, find the dates for our future webinars, which are coming up later this year. But until then, we look forward to seeing you at the next event, and thank you for your attendance today. Thank you.